forgot to do something. And now it's throwing a fit. Come on. Not Steam. It worked last time. Oh, now this is an embarrassment. Okay, let's see if we can't. See if this works. It was working yesterday. Oh boy. Alright, I think I would have troubleshooted this before I started streaming. It'll pick up Hearts of Iron 4, but it won't pick up the Tacview. Why is that? It'll pick up Hearts of Iron 4, but it won't pick up the tact. Yeah, Hearts of Iron won't pick up the Tacview. Alrighty. What the is going on here? Alright, we're just gonna have to jury-rig this. I'm just gonna do it this way by window capture because it's not doing game capture. Sorry that took so long to figure out. Alright. Here is the last Task Force Admiral playthrough that I did and the TAC file for it. If I zoom out here, over here we can see my forces, and over here is the Japanese, which the first thing I notice is they're exactly how I expected them to be, all in one task force, with their carriers, all their carriers, in one neat findable location, albeit basically right on top of each other. So let's figure out what happened by hitting play. This is the game paused. While I do believe I was setting up my formations. Yes, this is me setting up my formations, merging everything with Saratoga's task force, so I can get all one big task force here. Now this is me setting up my combat air patrol, which proved to be nowhere near enough. Won't be making that mistake later. I've already figured it out. I just had to go swap it over to window capture because it wasn't registering it under game. So there's the task forces merging together. Let's go take a look at their side of the camp. Okay, they've already started to diverge, and they turn. The main force turns north, and that's everybody's recon going up. There's mine, and there's my cap. They sent 2 waves of recon from both the Shokaku group and the main carrier group with Kido Butai. 1st and 2nd carrier divisions. Meanwhile, my massive fan of cap and my 5 cap groups. Here's the shoot down of their search. And the complete divergence of 5th Carrier Division and their 2 Myoko-class cruiser escorts as I blindly run right towards them thinking they're farther than they actually were. I have no idea where Midway is on this map. Okay. That's the last of their recon shot down. As I wait for my and there is their strike taking off. So let's go take a look at all this. Because this was a massive air raid. So one group, that's 1, 2. Look at how many planes that is. And this is at 10 speed. And there is... So, group 1, 2, 3. Here's 5th Air Carrier Division's air group. And there's my cap to intercept. So, looks like we've got 2 main groups here. Let's see how well this turns out for me. All the cap diverted to this main group here. Thus, this entire group from Junyo and, what is it, Zuiho? Or is it Ryuho? Junyo? Where are you? Ryuho. Ryujo. I can't pronounce the light carriers properly. Ryujo. There. It's the name. And here's the cap doing its job. It's tangling with their A6Ms. And there we go. Let's start counting. Let's hit play. Look how many strike planes this is. There's our... We'd lose... There's 1. We're getting hits on them. But not enough kills. Nothing but a massive furball over here. You can see all the... 2. Ditched a torpedo. 3. 4. Was that 5? 6. 7. 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. Ah, there goes Thatch. We're just not able to get enough cap on this inbound air group to shoot them all down. There's just physically way too many of them, and this first group in here is coming in unmolested. Because everyone hyperfixated on this one group, which is by far the most dangerous group of them all because it's got 4 carriers worth of aircraft. That's what, 13, 14, 15? $16. Anybody here that saw last week's stream? Or last week's stream, yesterday's stream? That's 17. We've now got effectively 2 fighters engaging, and at this point, half of my cap, there's 18 kills from cap. Whether that be fighters or the actual strike craft themselves, I'm not gonna get that nitty gritty. That's 18, 19. Now that's 20. 21. So cap is doing its job. Right. Yep, they go up. Oh. Well, crap. That's a bad count. Because I don't know how to read this own program. 4. Or, well, we can use that because it's dating kill removed. So that makes 25 approximate. 26. And this right here is paramount, that you have to engage the enemy with combat air patrol as far out as you physically can, so they can start whittling down these formations via attriting them, because that entire air group is being engaged the whole way in. All these little yellow dots you see are hits on them, us, and their fighter. On them and us. But yet, this group is undamaged. So this one's going to hit us with everything it has. Same with this one. And this is just wave 1. They have a whole second package amassing on their decks, as per their deck load doctrine. Or their policy of a deck load strike. I don't know what the actual doctrine name is. That's not my specialty. That makes Cap at 30 kills. And 31. So Cap's making a good account of itself, but it was never really going to be good enough. Really never going to be enough. We're definitely bloodying their nose of this group here. And here they come. They're starting to spread out. Yeah, because these are all vowels. These are all vowels. Not a well, there's a group of Kates there. And this is me turning into the wind right as they come on top of me in order to conduct my own strike. Okay, we're definitely engaging them with. We should be engaging them with AAA at this point. Okay, here's the cap returning, and here they come in. Go away, little insect. And here they come. That's all on fleet air defense now. And into the dives they come. This is all Junyo and Ryu Joe's air group. Hit, hit, hit. And out of that one air group right there, we shot down 2, 3, 4, 5. We got all 5 out of that one group. Lexington and Sarah shot down all 5 of them, while Hornet only got 1. Hit, hit. Hey, the 5-inch guns off of this Benson over here are definitely doing the trick. And they're still plastering the Hornet. There's more Although that's Sarah getting plastered. There's more hits. Damn, Lexington and Sarah are just a meat chopper here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eight fouls just shot down by the 2 of them combined. But now comes the pain train. I could count the amount of hits here, but there's just way too much going on for me to understand. Oh, so that's what happened to Sandy. A Kate slammed into her. B5N2 nav strike Wong there ran into the San Diego. And looks like another one ran into the Chester. So that explains what happened to those 2 cruisers. Now where does good old was it I think it was Astoria took one for the team. More bombs. Enterprise just started launching her group but got hit. Yorktown's launching hers. And there's the second wave taking off. And the first wave's not even over because they're still diving on me. But look at all this flak here. Flak and fighters. There goes Lexington's air group. Hmm. So actually quite a bit of their air group got out of here. Got out. But the Kappa is still managing to engage them on the way out. But at this point, with my aircraft out of action, is this supposed to be midway right here? Their recon's going for miles. Yet again, so is mine. Hmm. Man, this is chaos. Almost to a maddening degree to understand. But that just shows how well this game is built. That all of this is going on. An entire task force of United States ships, 5 carriers, 8 cruisers, 18 destroyers, and yet the game didn't lag even once. And it rendered all the AAA bursts, all the AA tracer fire, all of it. I mean, even when Sarah, right here, with Sarah and Lexington, right here with Sarah and Lexington, when they shot down all of the 8 of those dive bombers that nailed Sarah. That was a battleship worth of double and triple A. And yet the game didn't stutter. Shows just how well made that game is. And it's a relatively small development team. No. I have no idea what I just did there. But Yorktown is still launching her strike. The absolute MVP of this game. Or at least this match. Because if there's one thing I've learned in the, 55 hours I've put into this game? Let me go check here real quick. "78 hours I've put into this game. You can play this scenario dozens of times, and each time it'll be unique. It has such great replay potential. Albeit a clobbering this bad, you probably only get once or twice. Because you learn how to play scenarios as you go. I mean, my first run of Coral Sea is a lot different than the one I streamed on here. The second round of this match I'm going to be playing after this tactical file is going to be a lot different than what this one was. Round 1 is going home. Round 2 is still inbound. Round 3 is taking off. And round 4 is still on the flight deck. is taking off from 5th Care Div over there. But let me go hop over to here real quick. Let's do some quick... So let me just add up the numbers here real quick. So the enemy lost when it came to offensive capable aircraft from the aircraft carriers. According to the after action report of this battle, the enemy, or the Japanese, lost 255 aircraft. Only 50 of those were shot down by CAP, the initial combat air patrol, which is what CAP stands for. All these little yellow dots of the furball with the fighters and the Trit as they came in, that's only 50 aircraft. Fleet self-defense in the form of AA and AAA accounted for well over 200 aircraft shot down, if I'm understanding this correctly. Which shows just how much AAA I have in this group. Between the 8 cruisers, 16 destroyers, and the 5 carriers. I mean, that initial dive on Saratoga and Lexington side by side with the 8 kills there says it all. And they're still launching aircraft. But my cap is done. That initial cap, it's done and over, heading home. And it's at this moment that I should have been trying desperately to refresh that cap with scramble orders, but I'm too busy trying to get my strike off of my one remaining flight deck, the one remaining operational flight deck at this time, the Yorktown, because everyone else has been damaged, or has either been crippled or is dealing with damage. Okay, that is not where 5th Care Div is. Where are you guys going? Hawaii or something? They're way out there. And 5th Care Div's first group isn't even here yet. There's the little penny packet of Yorktown strike. Not Yorktown, Enterprises strike. Well, let's fast forward to Enterprise's strike on the enemy, if I can find it. If I can operate the camera correctly to zoom back in on it with McCluskey, because we know he got shot down. Is there a strike on us? No, and Yorktown is still forming up. It's almost on top of us. And there's the cap to intercept it again. So, the Combat Air Patrol did more than I thought it did. More than what it felt like it did. But this is still a massive airstrike. And that's a big problem. Because when it comes to fleet air defense, that little small packet is a lot easier to deal with this one. And it's not a case of timesing it by 2. It's quantitative. It's like 2 to the power of 3, if I do believe. Especially if they split up and come from different angles. It's all about making the prospect of aerial defense more complicated. It's easier to defend against 1 than it is 2, 2 than it is 4. And that's the whole 2 to the power of 3 aspect. And it gets even more complicated when you've got torpedo bombers, dive bombers coming in at the same time from separate vectors. So the fact that I only lost 1 carrier and didn't have lost Hornet and others were not completely disabled until right there at the end speaks to just sheer luck, damage control, and the amount of anti-air I put up. And this is just midway. I don't even want to know how bad it gets. Or, well, that's a lie. I want to know how much flack I'm capable of putting up when we go and get Santa Cruz with, hell, even Eastern Solomons with the North Carolina right there next to Enterprise with her 5-inch gun, with her 10 5-inch 38s per side and all her Chicago pianos. It's going to be incredible the amount of fire. Alrighty, here comes that massive wave of Kates I saw come in from 5th Care Div. Hit. Hit. And watch how quickly they all come crashing down. Okay, this is them passing the destroyer screen. Wrong key. Alrighty, first fishes are in the water. I launch it on all the carriers, and I do believe only Enterprise took 1. Enterprise and Astoria took 2 for the team. So it would be from Webster here. There's the first one. And McDonald. There's the second on the New Orleans class. Took out both her port shafts and flooded her aft magazine. Nope, took out both her starboard shafts and her aft magazine, yet she still stayed on station. Let's see if Enterprise's group has attacked yet. Not just yet. And they've got no cap. Our guy is still shadowing them. In fact, I got 3 guys shadowing them. Okay, we still got time on Yorktown strike. And you can tell immediately where the 2 air groups went in. Oh, it exploded in her wake. So no, the Enterprise wasn't actually hit by a torpedo. Because you can see how the hit moves with the carrier. And that strike is over, only for immediately the second wave of the main force comes in to hit me again. With all their Kates diving down. Ah, the escorts for the nav strike have broken off and are acting as a pseudo cap. Now let's see what happened to Okay, this is the Enterprise group right here. There's the Yorktown group right there. Who we diving on? A wee bit late there on that scramble order. Looks like possibly a Kagi. At this rate, there's going to be no bombers left to dive on the enemy with. Yeah, all those missed. Now that we've watched Enterprise strike get mauled. Here's the second major group of Kido Butai's second wave. And hit as Yorktown gets her flight deck obliterated. Hmm. more of what little cap I have left, heading off to Midway Island. Let's see how long it takes a Kagi to actually sink. I think at this is this is the point in time where I finally scrambled fighters off my 2 remaining flight decks. Akagi is still drifting. There's the 2 destroyers attached to escorter, one of which we would end up sinking. There's the scramble order disappearing off, following the second strike wave. Hornet should be damaged by now and falling out of line. Yes, Hornet has already fallen out of line. She's right there. That's me having to reorganize the entire formation. Our scramble is fighting their cap over their own airfield. Airfield? Well, technically they are floating airfields. But I should really be calling them an aircraft carrier. God, I am tired. Look at the furball of dots. And Hiryu has gone down. But Akagi still floats. So they lost a carrier first, but they crippled mine in the process. As she got underway again. Uh, Lex got her. Lex actually got her. Lex actually got her. With how many? She got underway again. And then Lex came in and just went, yeah, no. So here she is, underway, with Lexington's torpedo bombers inbound. Yeah, those are all misses. Which means some of these Mark 14s at least worked. She's not moving by much. But she's limping. Failed the worm. Failed the worm. Failed. So 2 run, 3 run. Wow. Out of what was that? 12 torpedo bombers, only 3 torpedoes run true? Shitty Mark 13s, everybody. One. 2. Yeah, she's still underway. Here comes, and Akagi is going down. Hornet, I think, is still afloat at this time. Yes. Hornet's little group is still afloat. So Hornet outlived both their carriers. Look at how the amount of torpedoes they had to ditch. So Lexington's what put paid to Akagi. And Hornet goes down. There's their second strike. Now where's the strike that came in that had me going, I thought people were retiring. Right there, flying on my heels. It came from 5th Carrier Div. 5th Carrier Division is the one that hit me again. Interesting. Ah, so there is a way for me to figure out just how everything, but that can be done off stream. I don't want to bore you guys with that. Or, well, whoever watches this. Alrighty, here comes the last strike of the day. This was the one that really did me in. it crippled Yorktown, and finally put Lexington out of order. And the Nav Strike fighters, once again, move to intercept. Definitely need some background music to play during these. Let me see if I can't do that here real quick. Huh. I'm gonna have to go get that off my laptop. Noted. Stop. No. I mean, this is not handling this scenario as well as the others did. Oh, if I had stayed, I could have really messed them up. Because, yeah, they are retiring. But so was I. I couldn't do another round. I couldn't do another round of this. And they're launching yet another search. But yeah, you could really tell where the four major plays of this fight were. You could really tell. This is where their initial group, their initial group was is I traded them all the way back. They hit me here. They hit me here. I hit them here. And there. And last, they hit me here. There was yet another group coming. Wow. How many guys were left in this strike? This is probably what would have done me in, but I ended the game prematurely. Ooh, that's a nasty air group coming in. How many guys is that? Looks to be 10 and 6, 10, 10 Kates, 6 foul. No, those are fighters. Diebug. Yeah, those are the top covering vowels. Vowels do not top cover. God, I am tired. My brain is... Well, yep, there's everybody heading back to Midway. Here's their last little strike group that I allowed to come in. No, it was this one that absolutely killed me. By crippling absolutely everybody. Because the 3 main cruisers that would have covered this whole flank are right over here. Because I kept them with Hornet, because I thought Hornet would be able to get her fires under control, but they just raged out of control. We shot down 1, 2. 3. One thing is definitely noticeable here. Any aircraft, and it's entirely understandable once you go and take a look at them. Every torpedo bomber that got within close proximity of either Saratoga or Lexington got shot down. All 4 of these Kates here were all shot down by Lexington's AA. All those Chicago Pianos and 40 and Orlikins. There's Yorktown taking 1. She immediately, like that, dead in the water. One boiler left operational, the rest destroyed because of flood, popped because of cold water flooding. Enterprise then takes 1, 2, and 3. One to the side. 1. 2. And takes the third to her stern. Oh, that torpedo was an actual dud. And yeah, she took 2 of those, with one of them being a dud, so they're gonna need to be towed back by the repair tugs at Midway. Hopefully not to be sunk by a Japanese submarine. Though, hold up. Is that the last strike coming in there? No, those are still the Kates. Okay, those air groups are departing. So, no, it does not look like I skimmed out of any other possible enemy attacks. They truly hit me with everything they had. And yet, I somehow still managed to get a draw out of it. Because I sank 2 and damaged 2 others. Meanwhile, they only sank 1, crippled 2, and damaged 2 others. Not a real good play this was. Charging headfirst into the enemy. Not a smart play at all. So, yeah. Next time, definitely be keeping my range. Put more fighters on caps. Disperse the cap out. So it's unlikely so that they, hyperfixate on one air group. Though there's nothing I can do about that unless I manually FDO, but I don't know how to do that, going to be honest. So I just leave it set to auto. As for how I was able to win this, sheer luck and the fact that I cluster everybody together meant that it was just a wall of lead they had to fly through. Probably, like, this was probably Eastern Solomon's level of AA. I won't quite say Santa Cruz because I don't have a battleship or the 40mm Bofors just yet. When they get there, that's gonna be fun to see as North Carolina pulls the "Are you on fire?" question mark. No, we're just lighting the sky up. God, American battleship double and triple A is going to be a godsend. I mean, we already saw what they were somewhat capable with South Dakota in the one modded run that I streamed. That is the Back from the Dead episode if you want to go check that out. As for this, I am gonna have to call it once this recording is done. I am very tired and honestly almost passed out twice here. As for next week, as Federation said yesterday, whether or not we do episode 2 of To Warn the Farms and Towns will entirely depend on his schedule. I will be streaming this scenario again next week for round 2 and immediately streaming its tactical file after that, so look forward to checking that out. If you want to go do the YouTube pleasantries, feel free to do so. But with that, this scenario ends with 2 carriers disabled, 2 American carriers disabled, and the United States retiring, with the vast majority of our air groups landing on Midway Island. Let's go take a look over at the Japanese camp before we call it a night. 5th Carrier Division remained untouched. Okay, we're going to pause this so I can actually navigate the map. The enemy fleet retiring with 2 Kagaros. A disabled Kaga. So we disabled Kaga. Not that I had the carriers or the strike craft capable of actually hitting her back, with the vast majority of my air groups landing at Midway Atoll. Midway probably could have finished her off in the coming hours. I mean, there's still half a day left. Where is Soryu? Kagero. There is Soryu. We only tagged Soryu once. So, they lost 2. 2 were disabled. They lost 2. 1 got hit. Soryu got hit once, and Kaga was disabled. In exchange for me, Yorktown, crippled. All but 1 boiler popped. Enterprise, disabled. Unlikely to restore power and has to be towed. Both Lexington and Saratoga's flight decks and hangars completely crippled, involving long-term stays in dry docks. Hornet lost. San Diego superimposed sea turret damaged via unintentional kamikaze. Chester damaged as a result of unintentional kamikaze. So as a result of this battle, I managed to eke out a tactical draw but a strategic victory, losing 1 carrier but having the rest of America's viable carrier fleet crippled, requiring long-term stays. Most likely either in the Bremerton Naval Yard in Puget Sound, or having to go all the way to the Bremerton Naval Yard. One of them's probably gonna take up be a dry dock queen in the Pearl Harbor Naval Yard for long-term repairs, though I doubt that because the fact that's our forward repair station. Enterprise and Yorktown would probably be towed back to your Pearl Harbor, patched up, temporarily repaired, sent to either an East Coast shipyard, probably either Philadelphia, Newport News, one of the big major ones. Whether that is that would probably be Newport News, Norfolk, Philadelphia, or Brooklyn. One of those with an open slipway capable of fitting them. So, probably 1 or 2 of them is going to go to Bremerton for long-term repairs. As for what this means for late mid to end of year 42, with Japan still having 3 fully operational fleet carriers if Kaga is not sunk in the following days. Shoestring is Operation Watchtower in the Battle of Guadalcanal is not happening with America having all 4 of its remaining carriers absolutely disabled. They may bring Wasp over as a temporary, hey, we need you here to fill out numbers, just so we have a carrier operating in the Pacific. We may go poke the British to get them to lend a carrier like they did in early 43 with HMS Victoria. My bad, USS Robin. But that's my 2 cents for that. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the start of the stream. I honestly should have caught that before I started streaming today's episode. And with that, I